Sort of a day yesterday. We started off strong. We looked like everything was going to be just okay. We're up about 100 points on the Dow early on, and then suddenly the yo-yo begins, and we pushed to the downside 100 points on the Dow, and we were up 85 on the NASDAQ. Then we pushed down 85 on the NASDAQ. So just this up and down, and then we got into a bit of a rally mode. It really started around noon all the way into the close, and we started to see things move and shift around back again into positive territory, at least for the Dow, finishing at record highs, up 45 points. The NASDAQ finished off of the lows. It did rally, but still finished in negative territory, about down 45. So again, a little bit of a disconnect that we were seeing there. Crude, always interesting. It lost some of its gains, and a lot of movement we'd seen in the energy space. The energy is particularly in the beta names absolutely were part of the strength that we were seeing. They finished up about, call it about 2% yesterday. A pretty nice move out of Devon and Marathon Oil and Diamondback and Pioneer and some of those kinds of names. As a matter of fact, the interesting part of why we are seeing the NASDAQ trade the way it did is a little bit less about technology, although Tesla certainly had some pressure on the markets. There's no doubt about that as far as the NASDAQ. But I think it's the biotech. You take a look at what was going on with biotech. It was at all-time highs, up above 174, it hit 174.50, and then suddenly gets hit hard to the downside and was finishing right around that 168 area. So that was a really sharp move that pulled back and certainly had an effect on where the NASDAQ was trading. And we always want to keep an eye on that because it isn't just technology, it's biotech, it's semiconductors, and the whole thing. So keeping an eye on what's going on today now, well, sort of interesting. Markets looked strong. They're up about 50 points or so. We opened up about 30, 40 points on the Dow, about 80 points on the NASDAQ. So a nice reversal from yesterday. Before we know it, you couldn't blink, but we were up 100 points on the Dow. We're up about 90 points on the NASDAQ. And then suddenly, bang, we get hit to the downside. And suddenly the Dow is immediately at the top of the hour, gets pushed back down into negative territory. NASDAQ didn't get that far, but definitely pulled back. And now here we are in this sort of a little bit of a yo-yo. We were up actually both 60 points on both of those two major indices. We're looking at the NASDAQ and the Dow, and now we're up about 40 points or thereabouts. I just took a quick glance. So that's been pretty interesting. Volatility just seems to be hanging right around this 21 level. And let's be honest, when I talk about 100-point moves now, when you consider where the Dow is, that fractionally, that percentage is very, very minimal and similar to what we're seeing when we talk about the NASDAQ, because the NASDAQ did recapture that 14,000 level as well. So, these percentages start to look a little bit different when you get even these 50 and 100-point moves, certainly as we watch these major indices just continually move to the upside. So, volatility is in the 21s. Tell you what's really strong, volume. Volume, once again, we were over 40 million. As a matter of fact, 45.3 million contracts traded yesterday. We continue to have these major moves in terms of the volumes and the sheer volumes of what we are seeing. And the interesting part, I think, about yesterday was it wasn't Apple. It wasn't Tesla. Those are in the top group, but and they're in the million contract group, both of them trading about 1.2 million contracts, 1.6 million in Tesla. How about Sundial yesterday? And this is one we've talked about before, so this isn't brand new for us. We've talked about seeing a presence, trading over 1 million contracts not too many days ago. Well, yesterday, 2.3 million contracts in SNDL. Just an unbelievable explosive move today. Stock actually exploded not just from $1 to $2, like over $3.50 on that big spike today. And we've been talking about this cannabis area. We've been talking about Reddit, all of those kinds of things. And we are seeing this be one of those names that's definitely, really, truly outperforming. Now we're seeing Tilray up and down and all around, more of a yo-yo. We've seen Sundial just seem to be chopping wood and moving to the upside. And today's move was about a 20% move or thereabouts. So really, really strong. NEO actually kind of balanced out what we were seeing as well. NEO traded about 825,000 contracts as well. So what are we seeing today? We are seeing strength from technology. We are seeing weakness from energy. Yesterday we had that almost the opposite, right? So energy with a little bit of a pullback. It's still trying and pushing towards 60. Can we get up and through 60? We'll see. But at least on the early part of today, at least, we are seeing a little bit of a pullback coming from there. Technology, it's names like Zebra Tech. We got Western Dig. We got Micron. We've got PayPal. We've got AMD. All of these various names certainly stand out so far, at least on the early. Now, the semiconductors, all-time highs today. Tech, all-time highs today. We're looking at Tesla. Yesterday we talked about that being one of the pulls yesterday. Well, it's one of the drivers today, along with Salesforce and a number of other names moving things to the upside. So here, let's hit some unusual and get the heck out of here. I am not on any of the programs on CNBC today. You will see me tomorrow. Boy, do we got a busy day. We got WCCO in the morning to start off on the radio. My man Dave Lee, who's one of the greats, the 830 is the signal, the numbers there. On AM radio, one of the biggest there is in the country, one of the best as well. They do a great job. They call themselves a good neighbor. Then we're going to get to the halftime report. And after that, then obviously we've got our cocktail hour. But before that, I've got to hit fast money as well. So kind of a busy day today, tomorrow. Bank of New York Mellon, that one stood out for me. And there's a lot of news going behind this in terms of how they are working around digital and all the rest of it. And so certainly the stock already had a little bit of a pop, but stock trading right around 43.5. We got a buyer of 13,600 of the February 43.5 calls. Those are going for 45 to 85 cents. Those have a little bit of time. Those don't expire tomorrow. They got a week or so, but interesting to see this kind of option paper in here. I like it. I like when we see something that looks pretty aggressive. That's a nice size, and we do not see Bank of New York Mellon very frequently, so that's a little bit on the unusual side as well. We do see Western Digital. That's number 2. Western Digital stock trading somewhere close to, call it 64. Got 2 separate hits today. So the first one, the March 67.5 is going for about $2.50, some size there. Take a look at the February 26th. So you've got a little bit of time with these as far as expiration too. Those are the 70 strike calls going for 75 to 95 cents. So very, very interesting. Hey, a lot of chatter about all my Giddy Up gear and where you can get it. The Minnesotan, this is another one of them right there, the Bull, the Giddy Up. So they've got some great stuff over there, and they give a chunk to us with our Twin Cities Lime Foundation as well. So you're doing something well for yourself because you're getting great quality merchandise. You're doing something great for society because you're helping out Twin Cities Lime as we try to fund people to get a Lyme literate physician who can actually do the great analysis that they do and the great work they do to try to help people out with Lyme disease. So that's something very special for me and my wife especially. So thank you for doing that. And if you want to buy that stuff, just check out the Minnesotan, theminnesotan.com. Folks, have a great day of trading. Education is key and knowledge is king. Definitely have to have that. We've got some of the very best here at Market Rebellion. So take a look at that as well. Have a